Check 1, 2. I'm going to do a couple of announcements in case we have some people coming in late. My guess is we are going to finish early. So on the back, on the upcoming events, We the People they are having their all-base meeting tonight from 7 to 8:30. Their focus is make the bus work for us, and they are doing a training on how to tell your story at public comments, like at Marquette County Commission meetings. This is a kind of a busy week because there's also how the U.S. Supreme Court works, and this is through the Senior Center. Dr. Barb McQuaid is coming to Peter White this week. The July 28th announcement about there's another group using the space, that's more for me as a reminder. It doesn't really affect you. But at last week, we were talking about August 4th and how this space is not available on August 4th. Lydia, can you give, Chris just came in. And so last week when we were talking about that, we also were reminded it's election day. So we decided that we just won't have any meeting on August 4th. Because many of us will probably be working the election or doing something related to the election. So there will not be a meeting on August 4th, one of the few times we have canceled. Other than that, just a reminder that we're not collecting in-person donations for the food pantries, but you can always Venmo. I think that's it for my quick announcements. So I will let you know that Carl is here, Carl Newman. Because we have such a small group, I have said that if he wants to come back in 2 weeks, because next week is a county commission meeting that he has to be at, but if he wants to come back when we might have a larger crowd, he will be coming back. But he's still going to talk tonight. Thanks, Carl.
Thank you so much. So I showed up the other night and sat in on a meeting just to see what you folks do, and it's really incredible to have grassroots, as you say, grassroots organic politics happening right here in our community. And really, isn't that how it all really begins? I'll tell you, okay, there we go. I'll tell you by way of brief introduction that I grew up right around the corner in the 1960s, early 1960s. I lived on College Avenue in the 700 block of College Avenue. My dad was a professor at NMU, and my mother worked for the Area Agency on Aging, doing senior center work. Our family moved to Lansing, and I went to Michigan State University. And I went to Cooley Law School and in Lansing. And then I've come back to Marquette twice now. I've come back to Marquette in 1986 to work as an aide for United States Senator Don Regal. I was his Upper Peninsula field representative in the late 80s. That got me interested in going to law school. So I went back to Lansing, went to law school, and then I've come back to Marquette County twice now. I came back in the year 2000, 26 years ago, for good, to raise a family, to invest in my community. I'm a homeowner, I'm a business owner, and I'm a property developer as well. I own a business, Newman and DeForge in Toutant. It's a law firm. I employ 11 people full-time. And so I know what it's like to make paychecks and make payroll, because I do it every 2 weeks, and I've been doing it for 30 years. I came back to the UP because I choose to live here, but my family came to the UP in 1910. My grandparents came from Finland in between 1910 and 1917 because they chose to live here in the Upper Peninsula, both sides of my family. My parents met in Marquette at NMU, got married, and began our family, my generation of the family, right here. As I said, I'm a homeowner. I live on Ridge Street, right downtown. I'm a business owner. You've probably seen my office building many times and wondered what the heck that building is. The little castle that's next to or by the Big Boy restaurant that used to be the Upper Peninsula Brewing Company is my office. I bought that building in 2010. We spent 6 months and a lot of money renovating that building, and it's on the National Registry of Historic Buildings. It is a beautiful, beautiful old building built in 1894. A couple of my partners and I also purchased a building on 3rd Street, right on the corner of 3rd and Michigan, kitty corner from Black Rocks, and again, renovated and restored that building, and I'm told it's the oldest building, oldest left intact building on 3rd Street. It used to be an old grocery store, and now we've renovated that building, and it's usable once again. I got involved with the county commission kind of in a circuitous way. As a practicing attorney, I'm a courtroom litigator. I've been doing jury trials for 34 years. I've taken on some very tough cases, taken on a lot of unpopular cases. I've taken along and fought for people who've been accused of horrible, horrible crimes. And people say, well, how can you do that? How can you represent people that have been accused of horrible crimes? And I always say this, my job, my role as a defense attorney is just as valid and necessary as the judge and the jury and the prosecuting attorney. And the defense attorney, the role of the defense attorney, like a jury, is enshrined in our Constitution. My job is guaranteed by the Sixth Amendment of the Constitution, and I believe in upholding the Constitution. I took an oath 34 years ago when I became an attorney to uphold the Constitution, and I believe in the criminal justice process in America, and it works. It really works. And people say, well, you represent people who've been accused of horrible things. Yeah, I do, and I've been doing it proudly for 34 years. I am not the character of the clients that I represent, surprising, but I represent anybody and everybody. I do it sometimes as a service to our community. I haven't taken court-appointed cases in years because we now have the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission, the MIDC, that has created public defender offices throughout Marquette. And you've heard from Patrick Crowley, who's running for judge. He is the current public defender for Marquette County, and he has a staff of excellent lawyers. But when they've got a conflict or it's a particular type of case that they need to have somebody else handle, they talk to the judge, and oftentimes I get the call from the judge asking if I'll take on the case. And in 34 years, I have never said no to any case, ever. And it's just, that is the service of the bar. Sometimes I get criticized, and it's those types of cases that make it into the news on the front page of the Mining Journal or on TV6 News. And people criticize criminal defense attorneys for taking that role. But I think that those are the folks who haven't developed a complete understanding of our criminal justice process and then the role that each of us play in that process. Doing that job got me involved with the county in that my former law partner, Steve Pence, used to be the civil counsel for Marquette County. He used to be the lawyer for Marquette County back when he was partners with me. Steve has since retired and gone on to greener pastures in California. But when he left that job as civil counsel, one of his associates, Wendy Marcotte, took the job. And then when Wendy Marcotte no longer really wanted to do it, I put in for it. And I served in that role as the lawyer for Marquette County. And in that role, I got to work with the administrator, all the staff of Marquette County, all the department heads and the staff in the departments. I really got to know Marquette County from the inside. And I got to know who does what and what we do really well and where we can improve a little bit. I got to know the departments that I didn't even know existed when I was just outside of Marquette County. Marquette County is a big county, not just geographically, but the services that they provide to our community and our members in the community is really vast. For example, we've got the health department, we've got the jail, the courts, we've got the prosecutor's office, we've got the airport, the senior centers, the medical care facility, and the list goes on. The parks department. There are a lot of county employees doing really wonderful work. When Johnny DiPietro, who represented District 1, could no longer serve on the county commission because of his personal health issues, and he stepped down, they put it out for applicants to fill that vacancy. And it was a time in my life where I'm slowing my practice down. I'm 63 years old. Well, I'll be 63 this year. And I'm going to retire this summer. And I said, I can do that. I can fill that role. I live in District 1. I gave up the job as the civil counsel for Marquette County when I got appointed to the commission to serve District 1. And I got appointed last November. I've been serving on as your District 1 commissioner then since November. And what I've learned really in this role is what county commissioners actually do and what we really don't do. Some people, I've been reaching out to folks in the community like yourselves and events like this and other events to listen and hear what the concerns are that people have, and then how does that affect me as a commissioner, and how can I help those and address those concerns. One of the things that I've done to listen to folks is I call my pop-up table. I have a table. It's literally a cafe table and 2 chairs, and I've got a sign, and the sign says "Conversations with your Commissioner." And I sit at the Marquette Farmers Market on Saturday morning. I put up a tent and my table and sit there until somebody comes over and talks to me. And surprisingly, in the very first time I did it, I'll admit I was kind of nervous. I didn't know, first of all, if anybody would come over and talk to me. And second of all, if they did, are they going to be aggressive? Are they going to be adversarial? Are they going to be in my face about things? Or are they going to be people like yourselves who just want to chat with a commissioner and say, hey, here are my concerns, and I'm glad you're here. And it was the latter. My table didn't sit empty for more than 5 minutes in the 3 hours I was there, and I said, this is a good thing. So then I started showing up on Wednesday nights at the farmers market, all the way at the end, out of the way of the folks that are actually doing the farmers market. And same thing, I sit there, I take my pad of paper, I sometimes bring my laptop, so if I need to look up something, I could do that. But mostly I just sit and listen to folks. And the range of concerns that people have is really astounding, and some of them I've never even considered before. They've never affected me, nobody's ever told me, and nobody's ever brought those concerns to my attention. Some of them I've been able to deal with right then and there. I can make a phone call or look something up on the county's website and get an answer to some questions. Some of them I have to get back to people on, and some of them I have to say, look, I don't know that that's a county's responsibility. But if it does come to the county, I'll be conscious of what you're saying. Having served in the county government, some of the issues that have come, and I'm sure you've heard of and you've probably shared them yourselves. Affordable housing is one that people talk about all the time. And they say, well, as a county commissioner, what can I do? Well, I'm not a builder. I'm not going to go out and build homes like Jimmy Carter has done in his career. But here's what I can do, and what the county board can do. We can take the folks that are already doing the job in the county, support them, encourage them, and give them the resources that they need to do their jobs, and then stand back and let them do their jobs. For example, we in the county have a housing specialist named Antonio Adan. Antonio is literally an award-winning public servant. He got an award from the state, Michigan State Housing Development Authority this year for his efforts in bringing affordable housing to our county. He has also brought to Marquette County, not just him, but his team, but the team that he leads, has brought millions and I mean millions of dollars in state grant money that had to go someplace. The state has allocated this grant money. It's going to go to a community someplace in the state. Antonio's got it here. He and others that he works with, and I've worked now as a county commissioner and civil counsel with Antonio now for close to 2 years, and he's doing a fantastic job. There's an entity called Housing Now, and it's a collaborative entity made up of developers, housing advocates, county and city government. And again, their job is bring the resources here, encourage developers to come here, break down the barriers to let them do their job, and figure out where the affordable housing can happen. And it's a balance. There's always this balance. Developers are saying, we want to come into your community, build homes, but you know what? We don't make as much money building affordable homes and multi-unit places as we do building big, beautiful houses that we can sell for a lot. So there's a balance. We need to encourage developers to come here, but we also need to encourage them to build not just the $800,000 homes, but all the way down to the workforce level homes. We also try to encourage realtors. Yes?
I was just going to say,
We're done. Okay.
yeah, if you want to just wrap it up and then you'll have time for a breakout.
Thank you. In the job as county commissioner, and I hope I get to serve another term because I feel like I've only just begun. As Marquette County, trying to still figure out all the different departments and how I can be of assistance in those departments. I've only just begun, and I hope to do another term. I was appointed to fill a short vacancy, and now the new term is up, and I'm seeking that. So August 4th, when you consider who to vote for, I would like you to think of what I just said, and hopefully you'll consider that worthy of getting me back another term. Thank you.
So Carl will have a breakout table, so you can have a conversation with him. And I'm just going to share this right now because he was talking about housing. There is the Michigan Statewide Housing Survey. It's on the agenda. I don't think I printed before I put it on there, right? Under time for anyone to share new information. It's there. Excellent. And it's a quick, easy one. It will be in the notes. I took it myself today. It's 43 questions. And then there is a link to learn more about what this is. This is 2.0. This is the second time that they are going to do this statewide housing program. So you can learn a little bit more about how that all works. And I can't remember exactly when the survey is due, but I do know also if you are following LSRI, this will be your armchair action next week because I was just working on that. And then one other thing before we go into updates and feedback, we had someone emailed, one of the people on our email on our listserv, said they would like if I wanted to share this, and I said absolutely. They have started a recycling. It recycles things that aren't accepted curbside, so like soft plastic, and it's a mail-in program currently, and it costs money. And when people push back on that, I go, well, my taxes pay for my waste management. Like, it's not any different. You're paying for that too. But it's called RidWell, RIDWELL. And this person just said that they just started their starter kit and thought it would be helpful to share in case other people are interested. Other than that, oh, and I have a copy of the Mining Journal article about the survey because I read it in my mom's paper yesterday, and that's how I knew about it. I have nothing else. If someone wants to talk about the candidate forums, that would be great. And anything else?
Hi, Jen Hill. I missed the candidate forums. but I'm so sorry about that. But what I wanted to do update is, speaking of armchair actions, the armchair action to write the governor about the voucher program. Thank you very much. I was talking to the statewide folks, and the UP showed up, and we were a good chunk of the responses that went out. So thank you very much for making that happen. And more to come on that with the school budget. There was $1 billion hid in the school budget this year. Have you heard about that? Yeah, the whole state. Yeah, $1 billion, and it has to do with fiscal years and where things fall. But there's still some deals to be cut, probably in lame duck, once we see what happens with the elections. So more to come on that, and there may still be a need. This is not a dead issue. This voucher issue is not dead, is the bottom line, and we need to keep our eye on that. There's a thought that money might be a bargaining chip down the line. And then I forgot my glasses, so I'm a little. I know there's folks who are not here tonight because they're at West Branch, because West Branch has data centers on the agenda tonight, and we'll hear back about that. I understand that at last night's Marquette City Commission meeting, if you haven't heard, a person asked the city to consider a moratorium, and they're putting together a work group to work on what to do with data centers, which I think we need to make sure there's strong public participation and transparency around that. So for City of Marquette folks, now we're in this game too. And then last thing is, I mentioned last week, on August 10th, Monday, August 10th, we are going to have a big UP-wide meeting on data centers and updates. And we are inviting folks also to come up from Wisconsin. The big data center in particular, there's 2 giant hyperscale data centers going in Beaver Dam, which is over north of Madison, and then one in Port Washington over north of Milwaukee near the lake. And Wisconsin doesn't have the 2023 energy law that we passed, and doesn't have the guardrail bill that we passed in 2024. So to qualify for the tax exemption, there are things that the companies have to do. Wisconsin has none of that. So there are no safeguards in Wisconsin law to make sure that the tech companies actually pay for the new generation. We have some guardrails in Michigan. There are none in Wisconsin, and Marquette Boiler Light and Power buys 40% of its power off the grid. So this does have the potential to impact us. And so we're going to be bringing in Wisconsin folks. We're going to have a couple of folks here in the UP talk about moratoriums. We're going to have an update from the school that's got the crypto mine in front of them that are currently being sued by the crypto mine, and an update on that case. So I hope to see you on August 10th. And I will not be here next week, but I will be here. And then the next week, I think, is that election? No, it's just one more week. Yeah, I'll be here I'll be here the week after that. Thanks.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sure. Anyone? Please. Well, be a rock star, just click that mic. I don't want a picture of that.
The business about the soft plastics, what was that about?
So the business about the soft plastics, it was someone that sent an email to Yoopers Unite saying that they're starting this. They are not starting the company, but they are going to try out this company. I've seen it advertised myself. It's just called Ridwell. And you know how you can put hard plastics and that in your recycling here in Marquette? you can't put like bread bags and that kind of plastic in our recycling. And this company called Ridwell will actually, you mail that into them and pay for that, and they will actually recycle that.
The problem, I think maybe people don't realize it, but you can take your grocery bag, plastic grocery bags and all kinds of soft plastic to Walmart.
Right. I know that
Instead of
too.
grocery store. So I don't understand why this is better. Why mail it when I could just take it when I'm going to go shopping anyway?
I'm not sure exactly. I just have seen quick ads. Like when I'm scrolling, I've seen it. I have not explored it more. And I do know needs them right now for shoppers, or I bring them also back. So it was just more of an information sharing.
I can speak briefly about the League of Women Voter Candidate Forum because I was there for one of them. And I will say this, they deserve all kinds of applause and accolades for putting on these candidate forums. It was all 5 county commission candidates for both District 1 and District 3 showed up the same night. It was incredibly well organized. The questions were all, each question was asked to each candidate who had a limited amount of time to speak to the question. They kept immaculate timekeeping. The decorum was fantastic. And I'll say that the commissioner candidates who were there, all 5, did just a really fantastic job of giving thoughtful, sincere answers to questions of the concerns. And in my closing statement, I simply said to the audience, I said, and by the way, it was at the Marquette Township Hall up on Commerce Drive behind Kohl's there, and it was packed. It was full. Extra chairs had to be brought in for the event. But what I said at the end, and I meant it, and I'll say it again, and every time I have a chance, all 5 candidates did a spectacular job. The county is going to be well served no matter who wins this election. Any one of those 5 would be very well suited to serve on the county commission. And kudos to the League of Women Voters for putting that on. I missed the judges, which was the next day, but I'm told all 3 judges for the district court showed up. And similar, it was a full house, really well received, and very grateful to League of Women Voters for putting on these forums.
Thank you. I'll follow up on that because I did go to the judges forum.
I went to the judges forum and it was excellent. The questions were excellent. All the judges had thoughtful answers to the and definitely worth attending any event that's like that because you learn. I guess being there in person. Newspaper. You get to watch faces, you get to hear the tone of voice and the style. You learn a lot. It was definitely worth doing, and it was beautifully run.
So I'll look those up and post those in the notes.
Hi everybody, Tina Taylor. I know that most of you are well familiar, but for those of you who may not attend very often, I just wanted to let you know there is a donation to pay for to keep the lights on, and we are at lemonade mix and coffee and those kinds of things. So if you have a few dollars in your pocket, today would be a good day to drop that in. On the note of donations, I do want to mention LSRI, they have National Indivisible is doing a
donation match for the month of August. I would suggest that you August, because in August they will match up to $300 for our small branches. But because we live in Michigan, which is a battleground state, we're eligible for an additional $300. So we are eligible for up to $600 in matching funds for LSRI. And you can do that all online through the little app on the webpage. Just hold it until after August 1st. And I wanted to, again, reiterate, it's helpful if I get a few people to bring in snacks on the weekly. Sharon Rule has diligently brought us snacks every week that she's here, which is almost every week, and I appreciate it. So I just wanted to give her a little bit of a shout out on that. I do want to invite people to consider putting this date on your calendar, July 28th at 8 a.m. We have a fellow like-minded person, Alfred Baker is his name. He was involved in an altercation on his way to one of the protests. Obviously, there's two sides to every story, and that is why he is going to court, and it is going to be a jury trial, because although he was the victim in my eyes and his, I'm sure, he's the one being prosecuted. So Trump supporter attacked him physically, and he was arrested and had to seek medical treatment and all the to-do. So if you are interested in showing up to the court, it is the 96th District Court, and again, that will be on July 28th at 8 a.m. unless for some reason they settle out of court or cancel, which you don't ever know until the last minute, but Al would really appreciate having people come to support him during that very stressful time. So, Baker, like bake the muffins. The trial, what I asked him for specifics, he said 8 a.m. So that's what he has been told at this point. And I don't know, I'm not in the court often enough, maybe you know. Do they give you a set schedule that is adhered to weeks in advance, or is it like one of the doctors where you have to call the day before and find out?
The district court does have a set schedule that they give weeks in advance. The problem is, like Tuesday, this next week, there's probably still 10 trials all scheduled, and there's only one courtroom. So the court will pick which trial goes to trial on Friday before the Tuesday.
Okay.
So it would probably be worth checking. They have an online way you can go onto the system and check what's on the calendar, the docket for the day. And I will do my best to have Al update me so that I can post it and update all of you. So that's just one of the local things I think that is important as we all try to spread our wings in local government and local activities. Those are some of the things that we can do to help support our community members. So.
Are you going? I was going to just talk about that further. You don't tell them.
Oh, go ahead. I got something else.
So Graham looked it up, and it is the survey. I took it. It did not take long. It was like multiple choice, or give up the mic. I had this in my hand. So Graham talked about. Read it. I haven't read it yet. And copyright, I probably can't read it because we're recording. Which is the one that Graham recommended to purchase and maybe donate to libraries. I said, or maybe donate to an adult that says my vote doesn't matter. Maybe have them read it for their own kids or whatever. But I have it if you want to take a look at it.
No, I'm done.
take it from someone that reads kids for a living. Second graders loved it. Going off the school stuff, I might be the only person from KI in the room, but that's a-okay. KI Sawyer is getting, oh, is that better? Yes. KI Sawyer is getting, they have gotten and they are implementing a bunch of their different grants, including a food forest. And they have a table set up. There's one today from 5 to 7, and then another one on the 18th, Saturday, from 11 to 3, looking for input on where some of the planting should be done for the orchard. It's going to be more or less along the path between Little Trout Lake Park and the KI Sawyer School. So if you have something that you want to say, they're going to have a table set up there. So if you think it should be closer to the park, closer to the school, more spread out, more collected in one space. If you just want to ask about it, check it out. They're really looking for people from KI Sawyer to give input on this. Thank you.
Do you know if there's an online way to get input?
Yes, there is. So if you're interested in involvement or have questions, you can email J Russell with 2 L's at letsgrowki.org. Yes. Yes. We'll get it on the Discord.
Anything else? All right, wrap her up.
All right, breakouts. I have the book.